Future Talk.
This is Future Talk
with Omnial Saleh and Hani Balkis.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Future Talk right here on Pulse 95. It is me, Hani Balkis, with Omnia Saleh, bringing you everything you need to know about what's happening in the tech world, in the UAE, and all around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, it is finally Thursday. Now, sometimes I kind of forget that, this week goes by so quick now. If you're in Sharjah, if you work in Sharjah, you do have that 4-day working week. And, yesterday I was laying in bed and I was like, man, I don't feel like,
It doesn't feel like the end of the week.
It doesn't feel like the end of the week. And I looked and it's already Wednesday and tomorrow's Thursday. But I hope you guys are having a great day on this beautiful Thursday. Now, obviously every Thursday I have to talk about the weather. And, Barq al-Imarat, which is where I get most of my news from, was saying that we were going to see a rise in temperatures. But today, believe it or not, it was pretty cold and, a lot of wind.
Today, the weather is actually going to be quite cold at night. Temperatures are supposed to drop to like 17 degrees Celsius.
I was so happy because,
I know.
because I left my house in the morning and I feel this cool breeze. And then, I look out, it's sunny, it's beautiful. I'm like, alhamdulillah, right? But ladies and gentlemen, talking all about, wind and air and all the skies in the world, we're talking about Elise, which is the first ever all-electric passenger plane and how it is preparing to fly very soon.
Yes, indeed. Coming up in the world of tech, we're also talking all about Tesla, but not Tesla in Europe or in the United Arab Emirates, but rather Tesla in China, because Tesla is now selling karaoke microphones. Now, this is getting me quite worried about future lawsuits, because we're already struggling with Tesla not being kind of fit for the job when it comes to protecting pedestrians as well as drivers or people in the car itself. So I'm interested to see how that's going to be turning out for Tesla.
Yes, and when we're talking about smart light bulbs, the number one thing we could think of was the early days of clapping your hands to turn off the lights. Now, that was when it first came out, a breakthrough technology. And then we had, the smart light bulbs where you can control using an application, turning off the light, changing colors of the light. I actually have a smart bulb in my room where I can have literally any color I want. But today, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about a new breakthrough in technology and the newest smart bulb that can track your heart rate. Now, believe it or not, some people say even the Apple Watch isn't accurate and it's on your body. What about a light bulb that was in your room? How accurate is that? Well, we're going to be telling you guys in just a few.
Yes, indeed. And, to start you off this weekend on a good foot, we're going to be talking all about disconnecting from our phones and what impact is it having on us. I have a question for everyone that I actually want to hear everyone's thoughts on. Do you suffer from what is known as app fog, which basically kind of means you feel too overwhelmed when you're having conversations with different people on different social media applications? Do you feel like you're out of the loop and sometimes you miss out on big events? Because if you do, we're going to be talking about how you can combat this, especially this weekend, and what can you do to help kind of manage your social events around the different social media applications.
Yes, and we're looking at a new look for 2022 as YouTube Video Player has a new look on the Android and iOS. Now, I do remember all the way back in 2014, or was it 2013, YouTube did introduce, that mini player on the iOS, and I was like, whoa, that's great technology. So I'm really excited to see what I keep saying Apple, what YouTube has in store for Android and iOS. But ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot of news coming through on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. So do keep Pulse 95 locked. We are taking a short break, but when we come back, we're talking all about airplanes.
Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
I'm going to need special support for the start of this segment.
Ladies and gentlemen, all aboard Hani Airways or Future Talk Airways.
Hani Airways, that's a new one.
Future Talk Airways. I'll be pilot for today, and we got our pilot on the Asana. All aboard Future Talk Airways.
That is my...
Good one. Good new type of airline.
I wonder how it sounds like when you're in the car.
Why?
Ladies and gentlemen, 4215. Let me know. Does it sound horrible in the car?
Could you take a quick video and post it and tag us at Pulse 95 Radio?
Because when I'm doing it and I hear the playback, it sounds like I'm actually a pilot.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, but
it sounds very realistic.
But maybe in the car, like, man, what is this kid doing? Like, it's so, like, it could be annoying. 4215, let us know your guys' thoughts. But Omnia, take it away for us.
We're talking about the world's first all-electric passenger aircraft. It is preparing to take flight, and this is going to be monumental in the world of aircraft. Because when we think about it, I don't think we've ever talked about using electric vehicles or electric flights or electric aircraft. But now we are looking at this becoming the new reality. More specifically, having the engine of this new airplane that goes by the name Alice getting tested last week at the airport in north of Seattle. Now, she's just, I refer to her as she because the name is Alice, but the plane itself is actually just a few weeks away from its very first flight. It has a battery technology that is very similar to that of an electric car or even a cell phone, and it only needs 30 minutes of charging. It's a 9-passenger aircraft that will be able to fly for 1 hour and about 440 miles. It has a max cruise speed of 287 miles per hour, and for reference, the Boeing 737 has a maximum cruise speed of about 588 miles per hour. So it's quite fast if we're looking at it using electrical or an electric battery.
Yes, and that company did focus exclusively on electric air travel and did hope that electric planes can fit up to 20 to 40 passengers and, will be a reality in 7 to 10 years. Now, a prototype of that aircraft, which did debut back in 2019, has been going through, low-speed taxi tests since December and will attempt a high-speed taxi test in the next few weeks. Again, we're looking at this plane not for international flights, but for commercial air flights. As again, we're looking at, it's not as fast as a Boeing. And, imagine this. It takes 16 hours from, the UAE, from Sharjah all the way to Miami. Mm-hmm. And that is at 588 miles per hour. Right? Now, imagine half of that, 287. So to get to America, it'd take you 32 hours.
It's not the most convenient, but for short flights, I feel like it would be perfect.
Yeah, for short commercial flights throughout the country, it'd be great. Now, we are looking at, how the company actually did aim to have Elise take flight before this year, but, we did look at poor weather conditions in the Pacific Northwest, which is their testing area, and it did hinder, testing in that matter.
Yes, indeed. Now, looking at it, a lot of people may be wondering, why is it until 2022 that we first heard of having a plane or an aircraft that uses electric aviation? Now, the answer is quite simple, and it's very similar to why Hani feels like having just a Tesla car is not the way to go. Mm-hmm. More specifically, it's because of the battery. So if you need to charge the airplane for 30 minutes and it would last you for only up to 1 hour of flight, that's just inconvenient. So there has to be a new technology that allows the battery to kind of recharge as it's up in the air without necessarily having to land it back to the ground, charge it, and get it back on. So that has been the block in the way of battery technology when it comes to aircrafts, just like we've seen with cars. But honestly, with airplanes, it's going to be a lot more difficult to kind of resolve that issue. Another concern is the weight. An airplane weighs a lot more than a car would, and that is part of the reason why they do suspect that it's going to take them at least 2 to 3 years to have electric airplanes become introduced to the market when it comes to longer flights and not just within cities.
Yes, and again, I am looking at, it's my personal opinion. First of all, we should master the electric car business.
True.
And then, I'm going to use a business model. Start small, build big. Mm-hmm. Never build big and then, you have to go build small again. So start small by, mastering the electric car business, mastering how the electric vehicles are working. And then you go to the next step, which would be helicopters. You master that, and then you go on to aeroplanes. Ladies and gentlemen, 4215, let us know your guys' thoughts. I personally think it is too early to talk about or to even think about electric planes, but that is just my opinion, and I want to know your guys. 4215, we are taking a short break, but when we come back, we're talking all about our good friend China. And, sometimes I miss talking about Jack Ma, who is the founder of Alibaba, but, times have changed, and now Tesla is what is going crazy in China.
Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
Now, whenever we talk about karaoke, a lot of people are going to get excited because they'll think of, new gadgets that you can do karaoke in your own home, or even, new places and new technology to get involved with it. But this time, we're talking about karaoke, but not in the best way possible, in my opinion, especially with this specific brand of cars, because Tesla has decided to start selling karaoke microphones in China. Will this be yet another road distraction for Tesla that may not serve well in its favor? Or will it be the brand new thing that may just attract more customers to go ahead and buy a Tesla just so that they can get the Tesla mic that will allow them to have fun when they go on road trips?
Yes, now this accessory, which is only available in China for now, was released alongside a Chinese New Year software update that did include a companion karaoke app, which did go by the name of Lishi KTV. I probably butchered that name. Now, the Tesla mic was available on the Chinese Tesla online shop for around 500 dirhams. And they say it was because apparently it sold out within the hour, and the listing does not currently load anymore, but there are still accounts of people already scalping the product for more than it's worth. So what a scalping is that they'll buy it for X amount of money but sell it for more. Now, we do know that karaoke was the original Tesla in-car karaoke software that was released in other regions back in 2019. And let me tell you, having karaoke in the car is pretty fun. Shout out to my boy Hamid. We used to go on road trips all the time. We were 4 of us in his Tesla Model 3 and just singing karaoke the whole way, man. And especially, we used to sing those sailor tunes. So, we got different accents, different tones of voice going up and down, and we're like screaming. And
oh, God.
It was super fun. But now seeing that, Tesla is bringing out a Tesla mic, it changes the game completely.
Absolutely. I think this is only going to turn out like how Tesla arcade games kind of went downhill. Just to put things into perspective, Tesla launched the arcade games, which was basically kind of like how solitaire was as popular back in the day. And it ended up being disabled because they got a lot of scrutiny from the federal government about it not being safe enough and people actually being distracted on the road because of it. Now, this brand new karaoke mic, if you're wondering how it would work, it would basically only be accessible for passengers in the car, and the driver himself or herself can go ahead and sing along, but they cannot choose the music. They can't choose the songs. They can't, play around with the settings themselves. And they did that just in a way so that they can protect the person behind the wheel. Even if they are on self-driving mode, they have to still be well aware with the car. Let us know, what are your thoughts? Would you actually be intrigued or attracted to get a Tesla just so that you can go ahead and buy the karaoke microphone that it comes with it? Or do you believe this is going to be yet another feature that Tesla tries to be innovative with but does not serve in its purpose?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are taking a short break, but when we come back, we're talking all about a smart bulb that can track your heart rate. Now, I'm very excited to talk about this one because it just doesn't make sense.
Gadget of the day.
New tech you might want to play with.
Pulse 95.
New tech you might want to play with. Now, if you do follow our Instagram at Pulse 95 Radio, you would have seen on our story that we asked you guys a question. You guys put a poll. And Omnia, what are the results?
I'm actually intrigued to see because just like you said right before our break, it just doesn't make sense. This gadget, in my opinion, is going to flop. But a lot of people do agree with us, and they think as well that no, it will not be able to measure your heart rate. And if you're confused about what we're talking about a brand new smart bulb that China came up with, and they believe it can track your heart rate accurately.
Yes, we're talking all about Singled, which is a smart light company that has hedged its protocol bets by making Zigbee, which is the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth smart bulb. And now they have announced a new slew of products at the Consumer Electronics Show 2022. Now, earlier this year, back in January, I did cover a couple of crazy gadgets that came out of the Consumer Electronics Show that is hosted in Las Vegas, Nevada. And, the biggest name companies, they go over there, they host their new products, they show the world what they have in store for this year. And this company did the same exact thing. Now, we are looking at the most intriguing thing and the smart health monitoring bulb. And the most fun is the Wi-Fi video sync TV light strips. And we are also looking at support for Matter, which is the new smart home standard. And we are looking at adding a fourth protocol to its package. Now, smart bulbs have been on the rise lately. I myself have 4 smart bulbs in my home. I have timed them to turn on when I want it to and to turn off when I want it to. But what if we told you that this smart bulb can actually track your sleep and even your heart rate?
Yes, indeed. And not just that, it is also a dual Wi-Fi Bluetooth bulb. It has built-in health monitoring and it uses radar technology. So it's designed to be able to track your sleep, to even track certain biometric measures like your heart rate, your body temperature, as well as other vital signs. Now, this bulb can work alone or even with multiple bulbs connected via that Bluetooth network that they create together. And they create like a mini virtual map that can help detect your behavior as a human. Now, the producer or the company itself even said that they may be able to determine if someone has fallen. So it may be able to produce that fall detection feature that we know about the Apple Watch. Now, this would be impressive, especially if we're talking about a senior citizen living alone in their home. You know, if they, God forbid, they fall and potentially injure themselves, they'll be able to go ahead and have someone check on them because of that light bulb. Now, how well does it work? That's been a question that have surprised a lot of people because the company says it has a very high level of accuracy, but it is still under development, and details about the price, about the level of accuracy are still very vague. They're waiting till mid-2022 to be able to give those details. However, in my opinion, I don't know. I don't feel like it would be that accurate because if we talk about the Apple Watch, even the Apple Watch that is sitting on your wrist, very near to, one of the ways to measure your pulse, is just not as accurate all the time.
100%. And again, this might just be a marketing scheme, but obviously, people on the internet will not let this rest. They will, test this out and see what they think, and they'll see whether or not, single the company is what it's all made to be. Ladies and gentlemen, 4215, but we are taking a short break and jumping to the sports headlines. But when we come back, we're talking all about app fog.
How do you tech? How do you tech?
Man, am I excited for this discussion because I'm sure I'm not the only one, and neither is Hani, who suffer from this. There is this new phenomena that is known as the app fog, and I'm actually excited to see if you feel it as much as I do, and if everyone else. 4215, let us know if you suffer from this as well. Do you ever get on social media platforms, have a conversation with one friend, let's say on WhatsApp, and then switch over to Snapchat, and maybe then you send him a meme on Instagram, and then you've got so many conversation going on with that same person or different people on different social media platforms, and then you just feel like you're out of the loop, and it feels all too much in your head.
Well, Omnia, you're more social than me because I have not had that problem.
You don't ever suffered from app fog?
I don't talk to a person on multiple platforms.
I guess it's just guys support me over here. I feel like a lot of people do.
I mean, I've heard of it before. I've heard of people, suffering from not knowing how to continue the conversation. For example, let's say you're talking on WhatsApp, and then Instagram, you sent a post, so you don't know where to carry the conversation at, and the conversation just takes a downward spiral. But again, I don't have that problem because I don't actually talk to anyone.
There's another thing, though, if you don't suffer from that type of app fog. So there are 2 types. One where you get kind of overwhelmed by having different conversations, maybe with the same people, maybe with different people on different social media platforms. Or if you take a break or don't open, let's say, Instagram or any platform for a specific amount of time, and then you miss out on an important event. So your friend gets married, I don't know, someone has a kid, and you just don't find out, and then you feel bad for not congratulating them or finding out about it in the right time, which also goes to show that we kind of are too obsessed with platforms nowadays.
Yes, I mean, if one thing that I could, say I suffered from per se is, big group chats. And I have multiple group chats with multiple people, and we have a couple of group chats on different platforms. For example, we have one on Instagram, another one on Snapchat, another one on Twitter. I don't open all three of them anymore. Just because I feel like it's just different things and I get lost in between the words.
Makes sense. And this is the phenomena that is known as app fog. Now, research has it. There's one survey, that a YouGov survey that was done, and it has found out that 1 in 4 people struggle to keep up with friends because they are using too many social media apps, and some people use some apps while others kind of don't use that specific app as often. So smartphone users would tend to forget who uses which app, and they kind of don't stay on top of their conversations. Now, one person, let's say, commented that, it caused them to miss out on congratulating a friend or an important event because they kind of forgot that this person doesn't or isn't found on that platform. And as a result, didn't message them back or any other similar circumstance. Now, the survey actually questioned almost 2,000 smartphone users, and they found out that those who used 2 apps suffered from 23% app fog. Those who used 3 social media apps suffered from 38% of app fog. And those who used 5 or more social media apps, I don't know if there are even more than 5 social media apps, suffered from 43% of app fog. So the more apps that you use, the more stress level or the higher the stress level when it comes to app fog.
I mean, it does sound, what I would expect it to be. I mean, obviously, if you're talking to multiple people on multiple platforms and you're having a conversation, a meaningful conversation, you're going to get lost in translation, as they say. Now, I personally, I've probably been through this before, but I never actually knew what it was. But at the time of me speaking right now, I don't suffer from it because I don't really, I don't text like I used to. When I was younger, I used to text more. Now, if I need to, say something, I'll just, pick up the phone and call and get it out of the way because, for me, texting when I was younger was funner.
Yeah.
Now it isn't fun. It just kind of feels like a hassle. And, if I'm talking to someone for too long, I start to feel like I'm being choked. So it's kind of weird, especially when I don't know how to explain it per se, but again, we are looking.
Sense. Yeah. I think everyone would relate, especially in today's day and age. It feels like if you don't respond to a specific message on any platform, it becomes an added stress rather than being just to connect with someone, because it's like the conversation may stretch for longer than you expected because of the delay in replies, and sometimes just picking up the phone and having that conversation uninterrupted for 10-15 minutes or even less, it's easier to get it over with.
Yeah, I mean, again, a lot of people see me on my phone a lot, and I'm a power user of my phone, but I'm power using it, but I'm not using it as
you consume.
I consume it, but I'm not using social media per se. I'm reading, I'm doing something, I'm looking up something. Most of the time, I get my information on my phone. I have multiple platforms other than social media that I frequent. I use it as a learning tool. In addition to connecting with people and being connected to the world. So on my behalf, I don't suffer from it per se. But I do know for a fact, if only it suffers, a lot of people, have been through that before, especially the younger generation who are always texting and calling and, being social.
How many social media apps do you or would you categorize as that you heavily use?
Instagram and Snapchat.
So 2.
Yeah, 2. Those are the ones I frequent a lot. TikTok, I'll post and I'll run away. I don't really, so TikTok is kind of like, an addiction. So you'll go cold turkey for like 3 weeks and then jump on it one day and stay for 8 hours.
That's why I refuse to download it, even though I get so many links every time from friends and family. But let us know, have you ever suffered from app fog, and how many social media platforms do you feel like these are your main go-to? These are the ones you visit, because if you use 2, then you're on the lower end of the app fog. If you use more than 4, then you may just want to cut down on or kind of lessen the apps that you're on, just to minimize the headache that you may have in your life. Because believe it or not, as much as we think social media platforms can be kind of like your escape from the real world, you get to kind of zone out, rest, that's what we kind of do. We just reach out for our phones. It may cause a lot more unconscious stress than you think. And it's a great time. It's a long weekend to maybe pick a day to disconnect.
Yes, again, ladies and gentlemen, disconnect. Sometimes it's good to, have physical interaction per se with people around you. But again, The choice is yours. We are taking a short break, but when we come back, we'll be talking about Omnia.
We're talking all about the YouTube video player on Android and iOS getting a brand new look for the brand new year.
Pulse 95.
Apps all around.
What's worth a click and download?
Pulse 95.
What's worth a click and download, but I'm pretty sure everyone has this downloaded or uses the website already. We're talking all about YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, and how the video player is now getting a new look on both Android and iOS devices. Now, YouTube is rolling out a new interface for its mobile app, full screen player, and actually just yesterday, Omnia, I was watching YouTube while I was doing cardio, and I said to myself, this does need a facelift.
It absolutely does, and it's actually getting it sooner than we think. For the new year, YouTube is getting a brand new look where you're going to be able to easily like or dislike, view comments, share what you've been watching. So these are features that we've already had with YouTube Player, but now the old version actually kind of hides most of those features behind the swipe up gesture on the More Videos section. So the newer version is actually going to put those front and center and push away the related videos to a button in the corner, which for many users, it's going to feel a lot cleaner, to be honest, because the more videos or suggested videos to watch can sometimes clog up the screen and force you to consume content over and over again without necessarily supporting the creator of the video itself. Now, the change only shows up when you're watching in full screen. So the app looks largely the same when you're watching a video in portrait mode. So you'd have to go ahead and put it in landscape, watch it full screen for you to be able to see that change. But it is going to be a lot easier for people to start commenting on a video, sharing whether they liked it or not now by simply finding it right front and center instead of pushed downwards.
Yes, and one thing I hated about the YouTube app was the annotations at the end of the video. Sometimes the video still has important information being displayed, but the annotations would come up and it would, distort the images or the video itself, and I'll be like, but I'm still watching it. I need to see what's going on. But again, we are looking at YouTube, catering for these problems and, giving it a facelift and update. Because let's be honest, who watches YouTube in portrait mode? No one.
No one.
All right, we always use it in full screen landscape mode. And again, I've actually made the switch from Spotify. So it goes like this. Apple Music, switch to Spotify, switch to YouTube Music. Just because I have a broader, music, I can watch, I can listen to, remixes, I can listen to a lot of things. The only thing I'm now missing out on is podcasts, but the only podcast you do need to hear is Future Talk 95, ladies and gentlemen. And we are telling you to watch or listen to our podcast because this does mark the end of the show and the end of the week. And ladies and gentlemen, most of you guys do have work tomorrow, but we will, let the airwaves relax on a Friday, but we will be coming back on Monday. But we do wish you guys a very happy week and a happy early weekend for those who do have it. And tomorrow is just one more day left, ladies and gentlemen. It's Friday, half a day. Ma'alish, you pray Jum'ah prayer.
Push through it.
Yeah, you pray Jum'ah prayer, you come home, you eat some nice mandi. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam. But ladies and gentlemen, we hope you did enjoy today's show. Omni and I did enjoy it a lot, but take it away for us, Omnia.
We'll see you once again on Monday, but keep Pulse 95 locked because we've got lots of shows to keep you company for today and the weekend.
If you liked this episode of Future Talk, drop a like and subscribe.
Pulse 95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.